Alright, y'all, so I just wanted to come on here and talk about the extracurricular activities that I did during my time in high school that contributed to me getting into Cornell University. So I'm gonna try to go in order, but it's just a little complicated because some of them I did it for like more than 1 year or whatever the case may be, but it's alright. I wrote everything, or I tried to write everything that I could remember, and hopefully I give somewhat of a good explanation, but yeah, it's just been so long ago. To start off with, so this was during the school year. I did this program called Dual School, and I did this for ninth and 10th grade. And it was basically like an entrepreneurship program. And I believe the way that I found out about it was because my counselor reached out to me, I think. And it was because, I mean, at the time I was in a charter school, my ninth and 10th grade, and it was a pretty small school. So the counselor could reach out to students that they saw were maybe getting good grades or whatever the case may be. And at the time, that was like the situation for me. And so he reached out to me, I believe, if I remember right. And I was like, okay, I'll participate in this. And yeah, I mean, it was just like an after school program. The bus would come get us, and then we would go over to the place where we would do the program, basically. And I don't know, I think my dad had to pick me up after that. But anyways, but yeah, shout out to my dad because he was out there. My little chauffeur, I always call him that. But anyways, but yeah, so I did that program, and it was like, yeah, it was about entrepreneurship, like, and innovation. We tried to just tackle whatever problem we felt that we wanted to tackle, and it could be a problem or whatever the case maybe, or maybe some other innovation that people want to do. Like, I know one of my peers there, she wrote a kids book actually, and she was actually able to publish it. There's other people that might do like a podcast or whatever the case may be. What I wanted to do was some kind of program where I could help like students get into college, because at the time I just felt like there was so many barriers. Like, I know there was like the information and just trying to navigate the whole situation of like trying to get into college, the language barriers. I think I was also focusing on like immigrant students that, you know, maybe had trouble even understanding the systems because their parents didn't really understand how to navigate everything, and then the language barriers and stuff like that. So I just wanted to help out whichever way I could. And I mean, what they had us do was like we would go to like places like YMCA, since they were doing similar things and stuff, and we would brainstorm and, you know, just talk about our progress, any problems, anything like that. It was actually so cool because in the building that we were at, there was like these. It was like not regular walls. It was like these walls basically, but they weren't regular walls like I was trying to say. And but they were actually like whiteboards, but just, you know. And we could just write on the walls because they were whiteboards essentially with the dry erase markers like any other whiteboard. And I just thought that was really cool. And then we used a bunch of sticky notes to brainstorm. So I thought that was a good experience because I was able to figure out how to innovate and do this, that, and the third. I just didn't know what I was doing at the time. But I think it was a good learning experience just to try out something, you know? But yeah, so I think that's everything I remember from that program. And then that same counselor, he told me about this one summer program called Upward Bound. And it was a program that I was able to do with a local university nearby, but it was during the summer. So now we're getting into like summer enrichment opportunities, which are really important too, and not just during the school year. So yeah, with that one, I think so. I did it. I think the summer after my ninth grade year. So getting out of ninth grade and then going into 10th grade. Okay, and it was actually a pretty interesting like experience as well. I think if I remember right, they had us. I don't know how many days a week. It might have been like Monday through Thursday, maybe Monday through Friday, or maybe just weekends. I really have no idea. I forgot. But when we did go to the local university, they would make us do classes like SAT prep, or, you know, just trying to get better at like math, English, etc. Like just basically regular classes. It was like summer school basically, plus like the SAT prep. And then there would also be fun activities that we could do. Like, I think there was a pool at some point that we went to, and yeah, I mean, it was also good to be in the environment of a university because we had got like a feel about, oh, like these are the actual universities where college students actually go to, you know what I'm saying? And so that was cool. And the actual classes where college students sit at when they actually go into this university in particular. So that was a really good experience. And then actually for upper class students, so like I believe 11th and 12th grade students, they had the opportunity to also spend the night in the dorms for I believe like a few weeks, maybe the whole time. I don't remember because I was still like I didn't attend that opportunity since I was still like in early on in my high school career. So yeah, but some students they were able to actually spend the night at the dorms, and that way they could also get a feel for the university and just dorm life. And then at the very end of the program, we would go to a college tour. And the one that I participated in, well, everybody did, but at the time, because I only did it for like one summer. But we went to Boston, and I mean, Boston has a ton of universities. So we went to Harvard University. We went to where else did we go to? We went to Boston University, Boston College. Oh my goodness, I love Boston College. Like, first of all, I'm pretty sure it's a Catholic university, which is awesome. And then it looks like a castle. Like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of colleges look like castles almost, but this one really looks like a castle. And I was like, oh my goodness, it was so pretty. But yeah, so we went to that. I don't remember the other ones that we went to, but those are the three that I do remember. And then what is it called? We also, well, when we were in Harvard, well, actually all of them, we took like a tour around the universities and just got to have a feel also for like the universities and be able to ask the tour guide any questions, which I believe they were college students themselves. And yeah, and what else was about it? Oh, and we also just did fun activities since we were in Boston. We went like whale watching, so we took this like cruise, like this boat. It was like a cruise basically. And yeah, we were on a boat, and I just remember like I was at the top, and it was going really fast, and I was trying to hold on for my life. But at the same time, it was really cool, and I wanted it to go faster. But then I felt bad for wanting that because there was somebody near the stairs throwing up. So I was like, well, maybe I should have wanted to go faster. It's already fast enough for some people here. So I don't know. But anyways, it was just really cool. And oh my goodness, it was raining too. So, because I was at the top, so there was like no roof, and like it felt like little like balls just hitting like what is it called? Yeah, yeah. It almost felt like the baby guns, but except it didn't hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it was just crazy. So yeah, that was an interesting opportunity, and the whales were, I mean, they weren't that close because safety reasons, but it was interesting to just be able to go see them. And then yeah, we also did other stuff. Oh yeah, like look at museums, try the food out. It was nice. I like Boston honestly as a city, but yeah, so that was that program. I don't know if there's anything else to say about it other than that. So yeah. And then the summer after my 10th grade year, I participated in this program called the Youth Advocacy Council, or YAC for short. And in this program, it was like a 1 or 2 week boot camp from what I remember. And I was introduced to it because I was also participating in this program called Teen Sharp, which was my college prep program. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. And, but yeah, and so yeah, it was like a 1 or 2 week boot camp where we would learn about education and policies and yeah, basically like trying to advocate for better educational conditions and systems for our public schools. You know what I'm saying? So I remember they had us reading different articles. Like I remember one was about Success Academy, and I remember in particular because they were actually trying to recruit me recently. But it's actually a really cool like charter school. I believe it's in New York City, and they're that school, like the teachers, the principals, everybody, they really hold the students to high expectations. They really, really do. Like I mean, the student, I was watching a video recently too about it, and like the students are like, yeah, like it's a lot of work, but we love learning and stuff. And I just think that stuff is like amazing. And I remember even reading it too, and I'm like, wow, like it's amazing that these teachers are really holding these students to high expectations. And I mean, they're all like low income, like brown students, like Latinos and African Americans, and they're literally excelling like just exceeding a lot of the peers in the nations, honestly. And I just think that's amazing that they're able to do all of that for these students. And yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that I remember the most, like reading that article. But yeah, and then they also had us like go to the capital of the state and then just talk to the different politicians there, our representatives, depending on like the zip code and stuff like that we were in. And so yeah, we were able to talk to them and just express some of our concerns. Like yeah, I was able to talk a little bit more about like what was going on and different things like that, and my concerns as well. And it was a good opportunity just to understand policy. Oh, I think the what is it called? The Secretary of Education for the state also came in at some point, and we were able to ask questions and just get an understanding of her perspective and stuff like that. So that was a good experience. Like I said, to learn about policy, about education, which is directly impacting us at the moment because we're students, and just trying to ask for more if since that's what they're supposed to be doing anyway, since that's their job as a Secretary of Education and as teachers and principals and all that type of stuff. So yeah, it was cool. And then in that same summer, so the summer after my 10th grade year, going into 11th grade year, I also did the Girls Who Code program. So yeah, I was able to do that at a local Chase Bank, and it was actually really cool. I don't know how long it lasted, like maybe like 2.5 months, but it was like a good portion of the summer. And with this program, I also learned about it through Teen Sharp, the college prep program that I attended. And I mean, it was just really interesting. Like I was out here about to be a computer programmer, you know. I was actually interested in it. Like I thought it was cool. But yeah, they even like gave us laptops so we could do it, and we learned a little bit of Python, a little bit of HTML. I actually used HTML to create a website. That's one of the main ones that I actually remember, and it was actually easier than Python at that point for me, and that was really cool. Um, what else? Oh yeah, and then because like for the website, that was my final project because everybody had to do one of those, and I remember the what was it? It was, I think it was a state representative or something like that. I don't know. It was a politician of the state that came in, and she was just able to just watch us present our presentations, and it was really cool. And then I know there was like a lesson too in there where we had like these little bot cars things, and we just were coding what it should move basically, what we wanted it to move, and and yeah, it was interesting just to see how like we're just like coding these things, and then the little robot does whatever we want. That was really cool. But yeah, I mean it was good for me to know about it and like just understanding. I thought it was cool at the moment, but definitely try like a wide variety of things, especially while you're just exploring and you're not sure. So yeah, that I'll get more into those tips later, but you know what I'm saying? Because it jumped from policy to like Girls Who Code. So yeah, definitely don't be shy to try out different things. But yeah, especially for this, like it was free. Like I didn't have to pay for any of this besides just the commute, you know. But my dad, like I said, he's been my chauffeur, taking me everywhere. So there's that. Yeah, I should have probably said the price for all of them, but yeah, they're all free, and it was a good experience just to see other girls that are. Some of them were already passionate about coding and had already some experience. This was like I was brand new to this, but it was a good experience to just be able to learn about it. Oh, and another thing, they also paired us up with one of the workers already in Chase Bank, and they were like our mentors. And it was so cute because we would go out to lunch and just talk about our different things. And I mean, it's all girls, so it's also just understanding the different dynamics that might go into being a woman in this space. Um, so yeah, it was interesting. We had people come in to talk, like speakers, and it was just a nice experience. Okay, and then for my 11th and 12th grade year, that's when I transferred over to my second high school, and this one was like a regular public school, not a charter school. But for this one, during my time there, I decided that I wanted to create a club, and so I did the Minorities Go to College Club, and I actually co-founded it with a friend who was in the same college prep program as me, so Teen Sharp, she was also part of it, because a cohort of us a group of us went to this public school as we were advised by our Teen Sharp mentors or advisors. Since the schools that we were in, well, some of them they came from the same high school that I was in, but then the other students they came from schools that just didn't provide rigorous classes, and they decided that it would be better for us to transfer to this public school that actually had the IB program, so the International Baccalaureate program, and we were able to do that. And since my friend, she was learning the same things about how to get into college and this, that, and the third, it was actually a great thing for me and her to be able to start this club. And we got really close. We're still close to this day. But yeah, and it's funny because, yeah, I mean, in the beginning, we were just getting to know each other. But I think it was more towards the end of my 11th grade year because we hadn't known each other, like, prior to this, and she didn't go to the same school that I was in. But yeah, I was able to do that with her though, and it was a good experience. I think I want to talk more about it in later videos, in particular, because creating a club it's its own thing. But I know in the beginning I just felt like, wow, yo, like I don't know what I'm doing. I felt bad because I was like, yo, I feel like I'm wasting these kids' time. Like they're out here coming to our club after school, but I don't even know what I'm doing like that. But it's okay. You live and you learn. Eventually I found out that hosting like the club meetings with a presentation, like a PowerPoint presentation, would be better because that way they can visually be looking at the screen and the board, and then we would be like not having to memorize what we have to do or whatever. And it was just good to have like a better structure using the slides. Yeah. And what else about it? I mean, there was a lot that went into it too. Like we had to actually type out the morning announcements, print it out, and then go to the office. Usually, like the day of when the meeting would be, so that students can know about it during the morning announcements. And I think before they would leave as well. And we actually did have like a good turnout too. So it was nice to see that students were interested in it, and yeah, it was just really cool and a good learning experience, like I mentioned. The only unfortunate thing was we didn't continue it like after, like leave a legacy kind of thing, because I mean it was also during COVID, so that made it also difficult because we tried to do it like virtually during I think 12th grade. I think that's when it was. So we tried to do it like that, and I think yeah, towards the last month of our 11th grade year, if I remember. I don't know. It was so long ago. But yeah, so it was difficult to begin with trying to transfer like the presidency or whatever over to like the underclass students. But yeah, it just added on the complications because of COVID. So yeah. Okay, and then the summer after my 11th grade year and before my 12th grade year, I participated in the Telluride Association summer program. And in that program, it was a really, really, really rigorous program. Like I actually got waitlisted first, and then somehow, glory be to God, I was able to get in. So yeah, it's really competitive. But essentially, like normally I think you could go to like the University of Maryland or Cornell University, and I think I was gonna go to Cornell University, or no, actually, I was gonna go to the University of Maryland, and basically take this class and do a bunch of other activities because that's basically what it was. But since it was COVID, we had to do it virtually. So I was on a computer. But the really cool thing is that they sent like if there was any internet complications or whatever the case may be, like they actually sent me like a little internet device so that it could better my Wi-Fi because we were broke and you know what I'm saying? The internet was slow, so it was they were able to do that for me. And again, this was free. All of this was free. And what else? What about it? Oh yeah. So the class that I actually took for that, it was like an educational one, and we were learning about I don't remember like everything, but we read the book like Plato's Republic. We read another one. I forgot the exact name, but it was about this guy, and I think he went to college and everything, but eventually he was like, nah, yo, let me just do this like craftsmanship. I don't know if he like I don't know if he built like motorcycles or something, or he did something like that, like blue collar kind of work. I guess you can call it that. Right? But anyways, so so yeah, that's another book that we read, and then we read a bunch of other stuff like policies, or like what is it called, like Supreme Court rulings and other kinds of rulings. Like there was one about that I really remember about whether undocumented students could attend public school and the decisions for that, and we were just going over it, and it was just really interesting. I actually have to go back to look at it, and maybe I could talk about it here. Well, not here in this channel, but in the other channel that I have. But yeah, so it was actually really interesting just to be able to like understand all these things. And yeah, it was also a really rigorous program where we did a bunch of essays and writing all the time. And we also had like a final project, and there was different activities that they did too. I think it was interesting just to be able to participate in that program overall and be able to see what the college classes would be like as well, because I mean that was a legit college class, and it was really interesting in my experience. And as I've been mentioning all throughout the end of my ninth grade year and then up to now, I've been participating in Team Sharp, which is my college prep program. And I say up to now too because they have programs for alumni. But during my time in high school, they actually had us doing, so I was in the Striver program, and I think they had two different programs, but I was in the Striver program. And for that one, they had us doing like Saturday sessions where we would have like blocks of time set out for what we would do. So for example, we had SAT prep for an hour, and then college prep, not college prep, college classes, I mean, with actual professors from universities. And then we would have a college knowledge session where we would have like alumni panels. So alumni would just be alumni of the program, so there would be college students that would actually be able to come and just talk to us and give us advice. And then there would be politicians and lawyers, doctors, etc. And it was actually a really cool experience because I mean we were all Latinos and African Americans, or actually some of them were actually from Africa as well, like immigrants. So it was really interesting to be able to just understand just these different things and be in community too, because it was just cool. And just seeing the excellence, because I feel like, at least at the time, it didn't feel like it was really represented as much. Like I didn't see it as much like, oh, people of color that are actually lawyers and stuff. I didn't see that in my community. I didn't see that level of excellence, because most of the people around me, they would be like blue collar workers. So, those cleaning houses, construction, field workers, etc. And I mean, no shame to that, all respect and honor to them. They're doing really hard and important work. But it was just not something that I don't know, like, it's different because you understand that it's possible, right? But especially like as a young person, it's like if you don't really see that in your life, it's like, oh well, everyone's doing this thing, so you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the point? And it's like, what's the point? Because it's like, is it even possible, really? Because in the back of your head, you kind of know that it's possible because other people go to college and stuff. But if it's not people from your same community, you really don't know if it's possible. So then it's kind of like, what's the point of actually even trying? Because it just feels so intangible. And then you don't even really understand what you're getting yourself into if you don't know people around you that have gone to college. So it's like, well, I don't even know what I'm signing myself up to. You know what I'm saying? And stuff. So it's just one of those things. And plus, I mean, there's other barriers too that can make a young person feel like, well, what's the point of even trying to go to college? Especially one from marginalized or historically marginalized backgrounds. Like, it's kind of different. Like, now that I met a lot of students in Cornell, like, a lot of their experiences were like, oh, well, it was expected for me to go to college. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was not an option. And I think there could be pros and cons to both. But especially for us, because there is truth in the community being historically marginalized for one reason or another, so we're going to be behind in one way or another. And it's important to have representation in college you know what I'm saying, like people of color going to college, because once you're in college, doors open up. You could be politicians, you could be lawyers, doctors, etc. And these are the same people that are going to be able to serve the community. And I mean, sometimes whether we like it or not, there's racism and bias that will impact people. And I've seen it like firsthand. Like I know one of the doctors that actually was talking and Teen Sharp. She actually said that she's like a doctor. Like I think she was like a surgeon, like something crazy like that. And I mean, she was good, but just because of her skin color, there was patients that didn't want to go with her for service. So you know, it's stuff like that. And then I've also seen how a lot of times, you know, teachers, they don't really expect highly of students of color, because in the same college prep program that I was in, there would be peers of mine. And mind you, this is a college prep program for top colleges, so these kids are definitely capable. And that, okay, so let me just say actually before I go into, so this girl, yeah, like her teachers were, and her counselor didn't want her to go into AP classes or advanced classes, but in reality she was capable. Like now she's like my age, so she definitely went to, I know that she went to a really top college, so she got accepted into that college. I haven't really kept in contact with her, but I wouldn't be surprised if she also graduated on time and everything, because most of us do, from the college prep program, since it's a great program that really prepared us. So yeah, but I would hear stories like this, not just from her, but you know, a lot of different stuff. So sometimes it's good, you know, because it could be, if it was a counselor, maybe that comes from the same background as that young lady who was a Latina. Maybe she would be like, yo, I could see myself in her shoes. I was low income. I'm also like, you know, an immigrant, whatever the case may be. Or my parents are immigrants, so now I want to be able to serve just like how, you know, just so that she could be able to excel just like how I did, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, I think that's why stuff like that is really important, to be honest. Anyway, so that was like a side rant, but it was really good to be able to, you know, see that just peers of my age that were also, you know, from historically marginalized communities, be able to excel and see them go off to college and then come back and talk to us and give us advice, and then just the cycle just keeps going. And then these lawyers and politicians and stuff that came in, a lot of them were people of color too, and then being able to just learn from them, you know. And so yeah, they did that, and then I also had the privilege to have like one-on-one sessions and group coaching sessions where they would advise me different things, like to transfer over to a different school or this and the third, and to hold us accountable, like, oh, did you do this amount of applications for enrichment opportunities? Because if not, you're slacking, you gotta, you know. And it would be stressful, but it would be good. It would be good. You know, like sometimes I think back on it and I'm like, yo, I did things that I didn't even know were possible for me to do. Like I just didn't know that I could do those types of things. And honestly, that's the mindset that I had going throughout college. So it was good practice. And so yeah. But yeah, in that program, it was in person in the beginning, and then now like it's online ever since COVID. So I was able to be in person and also online, but it was good. So anybody that wants to apply, y'all can do it, and y'all can literally be from anywhere in the world. Literally. It is just getting really competitive to get in though, so that's something that I will say about it. Okay, so that was during the school year though, so we would have those Saturday sessions, coaching, etc. And then during the summer, we would also have, like, for example, during COVID, we would take classes. Like, I took this statistics class, and I'm not sure if I took any other class, but I took that statistics class, and it was a really good class. I actually got really close with the professor because, I mean, he was just cool. He was like my adopted grandpa, I feel like. Yeah, and it was just good to just be able to communicate. Like, we kept in touch even after the class, and he would be like, oh, read this article, let me know what you think about it, and we would go back and forth and stuff, and it was just a great experience, to be honest. And yeah, I mean, unfortunately he had cancer and he has passed away, but hopefully he's resting in peace right now. And then throughout my time too in high school, I don't remember this was during the summer or during the school year, but I attended different events and opportunities. Like, there was this engineering conference for girls, and they had like a panel and speakers come in to talk. There's actually this really cool lady, and she was talking about how she has her own business. She's a mechanical engineer, so she fixes cars. And in the same business, I think she also has like a nail salon. So, and it's like to cater to women, so girls can come in, take their car, and get their nails done while they're waiting for their car to be ready. So I just thought that was so cool. And then they also offer like courses or just teach the girls. I don't know if it's through a course or what exactly, but basically they teach the girls to change their oil. So they can also learn about it since it's usually like something that's reserved to guys either because we're just not usually interested or whatever the case may be. But I thought that was really cool. And it was interesting too because at the time I was thinking about being maybe a mechanical engineer as well. Actually, my first interest, like career wise, was being like some kind of engineer because I learned about Thomas Edison in school and the light bulb, and I was like, all right, I need to build a light bulb too. So I was like actually thinking about it. So yeah, that was a really cool experience. Oh, and I really like trucks, like the Ford F-150s, stuff like that, like the Raptors. Those are so cute to me too. So I was gonna do one, but catering to girls too because sometimes the pedals could be a little bit too far, and what if we're pregnant and we want to reach. I don't know. I was gonna try to figure out something, for girls like me that like grew up all tomboyish and stuff and like trucks. I don't know. But that was kind of like the idea that I had, so I wanted to explore that. So it was good to go to that conference. And then I also went to another women's conference. I don't remember exactly what this one was about, but I do remember one of the speakers because she was just talking about how just she was facing discrimination for being a woman. Like, I think she was just being like told, oh, give me a coffee, a sandwich, stuff like that. But she wanted to, do other kinds of work, not just bring in coffee, sandwich. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, but I don't remember because it was so long ago. And then some other guy tried to like just talk to her crazy or something along those lines. Like, this is just me trying to remember, okay? But she basically put him in his place, and that was the end of it. That was the end of that. She was not getting disrespected after that. So that was really cool. And I wanted her to come actually be a speaker for the Minorities Go to College club. So it was also good to be able to connect with her and network in that way. And she actually did come to the school, and she was able to talk to the students and share a little bit of her story as a woman of color and a woman in the space that she was in. So it was cool. And then I went to this pitch event, and I pitched an idea. And the idea, I think it was about just trying to help students get into college and stuff like that. And I think at this particular moment, I was like trying to narrow down to undocumented students in particular and the particular barriers that they face because it's a lot. It's a lot. So I was trying to do that. And yeah, I mean, it was terrifying. Like, I had a microphone, I was on the stage, like, it was in this like salon place. And I mean, there was like tables for like everybody, like there was a bunch of people. And it was pretty scary, but at the same time, I did it, and I couldn't even use flashcards or paper. At least I don't think so, because I didn't have any, or else I probably would have used it. So yeah, and I was just trying my best. And I think before that, I had to prepare for it, so I was going to workshops and stuff. And I don't remember if this was like kind of during the dual school area, or if it was like during dual school, or if it was like during school. I think it was in 9th or 10th grade. Because I think I also took an entrepreneurship class in 9th or 10th grade. I think it was 10th grade though. I don't know, but that's kind of how I found out about the event, something like that, and then I participated in it. And then all throughout for the 4 years of high school, I also did sports, but it was just kind of for fun. Like, I wasn't trying to be an expert or go to college, get a scholarship for it necessarily. So I did field hockey. I think that's the best one that I was at, but since I didn't specialize, I was just like doing it for fun. And I did soccer, basketball, track, cross country, just a bunch of just random sports basically. So yeah. Okay, and I wrote down some advice or tips for y'all to have, and it's low-key a lot, so I'm gonna just try to read it off here. Alright, so one is be open to all kinds of opportunities. Like, y'all saw I did Girls Who Code, which was like coding, and then stuff about education and policy, and then random stuff like sports. I mean, just be open to all kinds of opportunities, especially like if you don't know what you're gonna do. And most of the time, like, we don't know what we want to do. Like, we might be sure, but then once we actually get into college, like, there's a survey actually. I don't remember like the exact number, but I think it was like 30% of college students or something change their major throughout their time in college. So yeah, definitely, it's most likely gonna happen that you're gonna change your major, which is what you're gonna be studying. So you might want to be a teacher at first, but then you end up taking a class in psychology. Like, look, let me just be a psychologist. So yeah, just be open to all kinds of opportunities, especially like in high school and when you're young, you still got some time, but still do the opportunities and be open. And then I would say apply to Team Sharp. Apply to Team Sharp, yo, that is the blueprint. Like, they give you the blueprint, they hold your hand, they do everything. And I mean, they don't do everything. I shouldn't say that. They give you all the tools, but whatever you put in, you'll take out. Okay, But they're experts. Like, they really know what they're doing, especially for low income students of color, etc. Even if you're an immigrant student, like, they really can help you out. So definitely apply. It's pretty rigorous now, like I said, but try to apply. And then regardless, ask your counselor for any other college prep program and apply to that too, because it's really like a great benefit to be able to have those mentors around the corner. And also ask for help from your teachers, your counselors, and any mentor, and this could be for any opportunities or the application process. So yeah, to find just any of the opportunities to begin with, because a lot of times we don't really know ourselves, and it's kind of difficult just to be on the computer trying to search up everything, especially because they might not pop up at the top, even if you try to search up like opportunities on Google. So definitely reach out to teachers, counselors to be able to get those opportunities, especially if you're in a big school. Like, a lot of times counselors don't really reach out to you because they got like a bunch of students that they gotta handle, and yeah, so they want you to be the one that goes up to them, unfortunately, sometimes, because that could be disservice sometimes to students. So yeah, do that though. So reach out and ask for help, for opportunities, to look for them. And then also during the application process, don't be scared. Be like, hey, is there anything I can fix on this question for this application, or anything. And then build professional relationships with your teacher, because it's good to do, and also because it will help for references, because you're going to need references. I'm pretty sure when I was applying to college, I needed references. And then for these enrichment opportunities, a lot of times you do need reference. So it might be a letter of recommendation, or just the contact information of a teacher or a professional person that you know. And then thank them a lot and let them know of the impact that they have had on you, just because it's good, and it'll help you too in the long run. So yeah, do that. And also start looking for opportunities early, like maybe like a year early, okay? And then also apply early, like right around that time, because usually like you have to apply super early, especially for summer enrichment opportunities. Like, there might be some opportunities where you have to apply in November, and then the actual opportunity when you're gonna start is gonna be in the summer, so like in June or July. So yeah, that's basically like a year before, almost. So definitely like look early and apply early. Okay. And then it also doesn't have to be like this long of a list, like all the enrichment opportunities. Like what I said, like it might be intimidating, especially if y'all are like in 10th and 11th grade and y'all haven't even started. Just start where you're at and like do what you gotta do. From the advice that I have gotten, I think colleges mainly want to see like 1 to 3 activities that will stand out and show that you're passionate about it. So like if you're doing like 10 things, but in reality you're not really that passionate about it, or you're not really putting enough effort or whatever in the situation, like it's not really gonna be as impactful. Like, they want to see like leadership positions. So are you the president of the student government, or are you like a treasurer, or this, that, and the third? But if you're just a member, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Even with sports, it's like, are you the what was it, like, I don't know, I forgot, the team leader basically. Are you that, or are you just like a regular member? Like, definitely do opportunities where you could be up there. But then if it's things like Telluride Association summer program, those are really rigorous, so they're gonna look at that too and be like, okay, this girl, you know. But I mean, don't be afraid to do like more opportunities. But definitely, if you can only focus on 1 to 3, focus on those and be the president or some kind of leader in that opportunity. Okay. And then for college prep programs and for the teacher advice, like getting mentors and teachers and counselors, and others to guide you. It's good to like find them and make relationships with them and everything, but at the end of the day, like I said earlier, you only get out what you put in. So you have to be coachable. You have to like trust them and be able to like, you know, if you see that it's a college prep program that has sent a bunch of kids to top colleges already, then maybe you should trust them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, sometimes be skeptical, yeah, but for the most part, like I think you can maybe trust the advice, especially if it comes from somewhere like Teen Sharp or a college prep program or a college prep program that has already sent these kids off to top colleges, or maybe even like a student themselves that, or a recent alumni, I should say, that went to like a top college or something. So, you know, be a little skeptical because yeah, sometimes teachers might be like, oh, just go to the state school or just do this or that. But yeah, but once you're in that college prep program, be coachable and actually take action on whatever their advice is. Whether that be questioning and looking into it more if you're a little skeptical about it, or actually just taking the advice. Because I know when they told me to transfer, I was like, I don't know. That feels like, I mean, I guess part of me was like, it feels like a lot of work. And then I was gonna be like a team leader for like the field hockey team next year, so I was like, I don't know. Do they even know what they're talking about? I don't know why I thought I knew what I was talking about at that point. But I was like, well, nah. But I was glad that I applied to the the public school that I ended up going to in 11th and 12th grade. Cause if not, it would have been, I don't know what would have been of my life right now. Okay. But yeah. So those are some advice that I have for you. And yeah, I mean that's basically my whole like enrichment trajectory and other activities that I did during high school. Hopefully this was able to help anybody, and always definitely feel free to reach out. Like I will be having my Instagram down below, so if y'all ever want to contact me directly, y'all can do that there. And yeah, I mean I wish the best of luck to everybody.